So this is our fourth training session of the day. The last one was a little bit long one. It was a 2-hour session, and we went over quite a lot of things. So now I gave you guys the opportunity to go in and fill this out right here and go in and ask any particular questions that you wanted answered during this session. So you're still free to do that if you want. Here's the link right here. You can just go in and any particular questions that you would like to have answered in this session, you can go in and ask them there, and that will actually help me keep a better track of questions that are being asked and what the answers are, because eventually what I'm going to do is take all this content and I'm going to transcribe it into the bot so that you can just ask the bot the question and it will give you back links to videos where things are actually explained, or give you back the raw content answers to your questions, so that anything that you want to know, if you haven't actually been able to be on the training session that talked about it, the bot will know the answer because I give it to it. So I do see that you guys have asked some questions here already. Why the heck are you so damn awesome? I don't have any answer to that question. Years of training, man. Years of training and hard work, I would say, would be the only answer to that, Brom. That was you, Sonny. So years of hard work, man. Can we see how to use random discount coupons with ManyChat / Zapier? Yes, we can. Twilio integration with SMS, voice, and video message. Yep, sure. When building out a flow, how to set it up or what action needs to be put in so that it's put as user input and is also zapped to an email or Google Sheet. I'm overthinking here. More than likely, because I'm not quite sure exactly what you want there. How to go out of the bot into free chat after that conversation, bringing the person back into the bot for follow-up, etc. So this part is going to be a manual process for the most part. This would be a manual process. This is a very easy process that we can go over. Can you embed a Facebook video in the bot? The reason is this should fire your pixel. This would allow retargeting along with your funnel, which would huge. So honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. We can try and find out if we can actually do it, but I'm almost certain we can't embed anything in the bot. If we embed anything in the bot, it's going to be rendered as plain text. So any way to make math with via Zapier? Yeah, so actually you could just go to this bot right here, and if you go to this bot and just say math, then this guy will do some math. All right, so I would say, in the interest of being productive, let's go in and just do this. And I do have some tea that I've made for myself because I don't have any employees in my office right now, so I'm kind of forced to make my own tea, which is something I really don't like to do. And you said, what did you say? BMI, right? Yep, BMI. All right, so let's just come in here where we're at right here. BMI calculation. And then let's grab this guy, create that guy, and let's also ask Google about some BMI calculations. So BMI calculation formula. Let's see if we can find a BMI calculation formula. This looks like a BMI calculation formula because Google says this is a BMI calculation formula. So let's say get out of here. I don't care about that. Can I just have the formula? Is that possible to have just the formula where you can tell me body mass index is simple. The formula is BMI equals kilograms over meters squared, where kilograms is a person's weight in kilograms and meters squared is their height in meters squared. A BMI of 2.5 or more is overweight, while the healthy range is 18.5 to 24.9. BMI applies to most adults 18 to 65. Does not seem like we have anything here. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm assuming that must be better for you. right? So now you can actually see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. So all I'm doing is I'm just asking Google what a BMI formula is because I don't know. And Google's my best friend. So me and Google are really tight. I actually, you know, before I started this company, I actually used to work for Google as an engineer, and I quit my job at Google. It's one of the sometimes looking back at the decisions that I've made in my life, I really regret that moment where I handed in my resignation for Google. Because they just provide a really awesome workplace. But honestly, I learned so much from Google. It was a great experience. And most of the policies and most of the things that we actually have in our company, I've modeled after a Google model because they have, Google has employees that have clocked into work and they have literally not left Google in 5 years. The guys have came to work, they have clocked in, they've punched the clock, clocked into work. 5 years later, they've never went home. They've never even left Google. That's how awesome of a place it is to work there. But so me and Google are really good friends. When I don't know something, I just ask Google, and as you can see, he gives me this right here. So let's go in, and it looks like in order to calculate this guy, I need to go in and get some data from you. All right. I need to get some data from you. So I need to get your weight. So let's go to the flow builder and say, hey, let's calculate your BMI and tell you if you are overweight or not. I'll need a little info first. So let's give that guy a little delay. Let's ask him a question. That question is going to be, what is your weight expressed in, what are you telling me this formula is? This is kilos, all right? So this is kilos. Man, I really want to, this is an hour-long training, and I don't want to do the entire training on this BMI, but I really would like to make this flow where it works for everybody, because you see, us Americans, if you ask us what our weight is in kilograms, we're just going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? What's a kilogram? Unless you're an engineer like me, then we just automatically know. If you ask us our height in centimeters, we're going to be like, what the hell is, I don't know, what the hell is a centimeter? But the rest of the world, if you ask their weight in pounds, the rest of the world is going to be like, why would I use pounds? Or if you ask them what their weight is in inches, they're going to be like, look, why would I use a non-standard unit of measurement? Because honestly, pounds and inches, really, really arbitrage measurement that I'm not sure why the United States uses. So I'm just going to ask you for, and yes, we can make conditions based on location. So to do that, let's do this. Let's delete this. Let's go in and continue into a conditional block. And let's say if the condition is locale, United States, so we need to do English US for that locale. Then we're going to go ask you some US questions. If not, we're going to ask you, so here we're going to ask you some English, some, really stupid English stuff. Here we're going to ask you some standard unit of measurement. So obviously the metric system is a much better way to measure. So we're just going to ask you, what is your weight expressed in kgs? Please enter a number like 90 or 180, however many kgs you actually weigh. All right. So now we're going to go in and take, we got a couple options here. All right. We could take a number. So we could grab a number from a guy. But if you understand enough about ManyChat and you understand enough about engineering, you would know that there's there's more than 2 different data types as a number. But the main ones that we want to concern ourselves with are integer values and float values. So an integer value is a rounded number. So if you were to give 1.9 as an integer value, you would get a 1 back. If you were to give 1.9 as a float value, you would get 1.9 back. So ManyChat doesn't deal with floats, it only deals with integers, meaning if your user types in a 1.9 as a number value, then ManyChat is automatically going to convert that to a 1, all right? So for that reason, we're going to have a text value here, and we're going to call this users weight in kg. All right. So let's create a new custom field called users weight in kg. So now we've got a custom field called users weight in kg. And I'm just going to tell this guy, I don't like how you measure things. All right. Now we're going to automatically continue. And I don't actually even necessarily need to automatically continue there. I can just ask him here, what is your height in centimeters? Right, is that what you're asking me? What is your height in centimeters? So this is km over meters squared. So all right, so that should be good enough. What is your height in centimeters? Please give a number like 100 or 137, 135, how, whatever number best describes how many centimeters tall you are. All right, so we're gonna put this in users height in cm. Create. So then I will divide the cm by 100 through the Zap or something. Then first, since, I mean, I do have a degree in mathematics, but first I'm going to ask Google how to convert centimeters to meters. And it's going to say 1 centimeter is equal to 0.001. So if I were to go in and do that on my calculator and say, hey, 1 centimeter divided by 100 is 0.01. So that looks like the conversion that I need to do. So that looks like the conversion that I need to do. I don't want to ask somebody their height in meters because I think people the non-American people, I think you guys refer to centimeters whenever you're doing your height in the first place. So now what I want to do is trigger some action. And then I want to trigger some message. Okay, so there's that. All right, so I'm going to trigger a Zap, and this Zap is going to be called calculate metric BMI, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to calculate your BMI according to the metric system. So now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go to Zapier, and I am going to create a new Zap, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy here, because in Zapier, what I want to do is give him a name, demo bot, so that I can easily find this guy. I'm going to use ManyChat as a trigger, and this is going to be a new trigger, a Zap event. And then I'm going to actually do some, pick that guy right there. And I'm going to do this guy right there. And I'm going to continue, fetch and continue. And now once I fetch and continue, I'm going to go find this guy right here, Ouija Lim. So I'm not sure if this guy is somebody out of a Super Mario game or not, but I'm going to find this guy right here, Ouija Lim. And I need to come down here to some users information, some users weight in kg. I'm not sure. This is, yep, I am recording this. So this is 100. He's going to weigh 100. I really don't know if that's good or bad. And then that was his user's weight. And this is user's height in cm. So I'm going to say average height of a Chinese man in cm, and see if I can get that. 172 cm is the average height of a Chinese man. So this guy is going to have an average height of 171 cm. And let's see if we can do a weight. What's the average weight of a Chinese man? Blah, blah, blah. They usually are 160 cms. So it doesn't look like they're going to give me any average weight. So who cares? He weighs 100. He weighs 100 kgs. So he weighs, I'm going to give him a little weight, all right, a little extra weight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to retest ManyChat so that I can bring in those values that I just gave him. Because ManyChat always gives me the last person to sign up. So now I can see I've got that data there for that. All right. So now I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to go to the next step. Now in this next step, I've got a couple options here that I can do. All right. If I'm an engineer and I know how to program, then I can use Code by Zapier. That's what I would use. All right. But since most of you guys are engineers, then Code by Zapier, you're going to have to ask me how to do, or you're going to have to do some intensive Googling. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to do Formatter by Zapier. Now we're going to work with some numbers, and we are going to transform and do a spreadsheet style formula. So here's a formula. Let's look and see what stuff that we can do. So I know you told me that I need to do this formula. BMI is equal to kilograms over meters squared. So what did I ask you for? I asked you for your weight in kgs. All right. So I ask you for your weight in kgs, and I ask you for meters squared. So now that's what means that I need to go in and look here, blah, 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 formulas, examples. Do you have a square function? Square, 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 square root. Don't want a square root. Don't want a square root. Do you have a power function? Power, 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 power. You do have a power function. Great. So let's just grab that and put that down there so that we can reference him. I need that power function, right? Because I need to go in, and if I want to do meters squared, then I need to multiply. I need to take this guy to the second power. All right. So first off, I need his kg. All right. So let's just go in and say, hey, I want to do this. And this is going to be some user's weight in kg divided by, now I needed to go in and actually square is 2 times 2, or I can just multiply this guy by himself, right? So yes, I could go in and multiply this guy's weight by himself. So I need to go in and basically convert this guy. I need to convert his weight first into, centimeters. So I'm going to take this guy, his height, divided by 100 to get meters. And then I'm going to multiply that by height divided by that. All right. So now I've got that times that. And I believe that should finish up my function, except for I think I need one more of those guys. So let's continue and see if that actually works, or if I'm going to get some stupid error there. I got a 34. That looks like his BMI right there. So let's go back and look at that. There's his height. There's his height. There's his weight. All right. So he weighs this much. This is how high he is. This is how high he is. So let's just put that data in there. All right. And see what we get. This was 34. So let's ask this guy right here. He was 100. And then here he was 171. Calculate BMI. 34.2. What did we get? We got a 34.19. So if we round this up to a floor function, if we round this up, then we just calculated the guy's BMI. Awesome. So now we just used a little mathematical function called formatter by Zapier. We calculated this guy's BMI. All right, so now what we want to do is come in here to our settings. We want to create a new custom field. This custom field is going to be called BMI. And we're just going to call this index, right? I think that's how you refer to it, BMI index. It's going to be a number, or we could just call it BMI, or we could call it some complete crappy random thing if we want. And yeah, we definitely want to store weight and height in separate pieces of data. So we're just going to call this BMI, and that's a number. Okay. So now we've got that custom field. All right. So now what we want to do here is add another step. And this is going to be a mini chat step, and we're going to send back this guy's BMI. So we're going to set a custom field for our little buddy. Our little buddy our little buddy from Super Mario Brothers. I'm pretty sure this is not a real person, and this is a Super Mario Brothers character. So this custom field that we're going to set is going to be BMI. There's that BMI. And the value, we're going to grab the output from step 2. All right, so step 2, this output right here. I'm not sure why it's giving us this as a thing. So we're going to come in here and we're going to rename this guy calculate BMI. We're not going to spell it right because we don't know how to spell. So there's that. All right. So now we can grab that guy. I'm really not sure why he's referencing user's custom field weight in kilograms, but I can clearly see that is the value that I want, right? That is clearly the value that I want there. And set for it is a little off. It seems like it's actually a little off. Let's go in, test this step again. That is 34. What was this? This was 34. Okay, so it is the actual right value. So let's continue on to this guy. Let's come in here and calculate that BMI, and let's put that in. So now, now we're sending this data back down to Zapier. Now what we want to do is create a new flow and give it show user his BMI. Okay, so now we're going to show this user his BMI. So now to show this user his BMI, well, the first thing that we want to do is go to these flows, go to our template, grab this logical engine right here, because if you're unsubscribed from my bot, I really don't want to calculate your BMI. I want to tell you to go screw off because you're unsubscribed from my bot. So I'm going to drop that Logix engine right in there so that if you're unsubscribed from my bot, you can't get this data. And then I'm also going to go into this flow, and in this flow, I don't necessarily need to add this Logix engine because I know that the only way that you're ever going to be able to reach this flow is Zapier is going to push this flow back down to you. But I'm going to go ahead and add that in there. I'm going to get rid of this guy, and then I'm going to come right into some condition where what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the user's BMI. Now, this guy tells me that a BMI of 25 or more is overweight, while the healthy range is 18.5 to 24.9. BMI applies to most adults between 18 to 65. So I've got a range of over 25, seems like it means you're fat, 18 to 25 seems like it means like you're all right. And below 18 seems like you're anorexic. So I'm going to go in and give you that data right here in this flow. I'm going to go in and say, hey, if BMI is greater than, what did you tell me? 25, 24.9. So remember here, I can't actually use any decimal values here at all because ManyChat is just going to convert those decimal values into integers. So I'm just going to say, hey, if you are greater than or equal to 25, is there any good thing that says, sorry, but you're fat? Nope. We're not making a PR friendly. There we go. These are great. This one's really great. So I'm just going to save that image. I really like that one. So let's send that message. Let's pop in his BMI here. Give him a little delay and then get him prepared for this right here. That was called Stop Eating Your Fat. So let's give him that image right there. All right, so now he's gonna get that image right there. If no, then what I'm gonna do is add another condition, and this condition is going to be if you are BMI is less than 25 and BMI is greater than or equal to 18, seems like was my condition, right? Pretty sure that's what he said, 18 to 25. And then I'm just going to go in and say you're healthy. Can I find any good normal weight but no period? That one's probably not going to work. Let's see if we can find a good little image here. No image here. What did you actually tell us? This applies to most a healthy range. See if we can just find something. If not, we'll just skip it because we don't really need these images. So really don't need this image at all. So I'm just going to skip that image. So I'm just going to skip those images and come in here and send him a message that says this. Okay. So now I need one more thing right here. That's going to go to another condition. And this guy is going to go if your BMI is less than or equal to 17. So if you're less than or equal to 17, if that's true, I'm going to say the same thing that I said over here. I'm going to say that. Then I'm going to make you wait for it. I could probably just do this. You need to eat more. Find some good little image there. Eat more. There's a great one. Save that image as eat more. And then let's give him that image and say, buddy, you need to eat some more foods. Eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more. Okay, so now we had one last thing. This is if none of our conditions exist, meaning some magical way you got in here and your BMI is not in any of these ranges, which means that your BMI is not set, okay? So I'm going to send you right back into that BMI calculation so that you can get your BMI calculated for you. All right, so now I'm going to publish this guy. Now I'm going to go right back into Zapier. I'm going to skip that stupid test. I'm going to add a step. This step is going to be called send content to user, where I'm going to send them out that content. So I'm going to send some content to a user. And I'm going to send it from this demo bot right here. The user that I'm going to use is going to come from a custom value, and it's going to be from that value from step 1. And the content that I'm going to send this guy is going to be something called show user his BMI. And we're going to continue that. And we're going to skip this test. And we're going to finish this guy. And we're going to turn this app on. And then we're going to come back in here to this BMI right here. And we're going to preview this, and most likely he's going to tell me, I don't like how you measure things because I'm using the English system and he doesn't like the English system. So I need to go in and build out another process to go in and do some conversions to convert English values into standardized metrics values. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to take this guy right here and I'm going to go ahead and route him right here where this other guy goes. All right. So now I'm going to preview this guy out. And he's going to say, hey, let's calculate your BMI. And first off, I'm going to delete that conversation. And then I'm going to come back over here somewhere. And I'm going to do something like this. And I'm going to add a little nice delay here so that this guy has a chance to read whatever the crap I was telling him. So now he's got a chance to actually read whatever I was saying, and we're matching the rate at which we deliver him some content with the rate at which he's actually consuming the content. So our bot's a little bit more user-friendly. So now he's like, hey, what's your weight expressed in kilograms? Well, pounds to kg, I clock in at a good 160. So I'm 72.57 kilograms. So 72.57. What is my height in centimeters? So feet and inches to centimeters. So 1 foot. I'm actually 6 foot 3 inches. So that's 182. 3 inches, 182 plus 7, so 189, 88, 62. So I'm just going to say I'm 190 centimeters. So I'm probably going to get a stupid message telling me I'm too skinny. So let's calculate that BMI. So you can see my BMI is 20. So actually, you know, I'm a very healthy weight. It seems like I'm a very healthy weight. So I don't need to eat more or anything else. All right. So now let's go in, try this guy out again. Let's preview this guy out again. And then I'm just going to use that same value. What did I give before? I am 72.57. 72.57. I just realized that if I'm 72.57, our little Chinese dude I gave is 100 centimeters. That dude is that dude is a walking giant. So that guy's huge. So now I'm gonna go in, and before I said that I was 190 tall. Oh, I should have changed my weight, right? So I'm just gonna give 100. I'm 100 tall, and let's see what my BMI is if I was shorter. If I was a lot shorter, let's see if I can get something that says I'm fat. Yeah, I'm at a 72 BMI, so I'm definitely overweight. I'm fat. There's a win. Stop eating. You're fat. So there's a great win. According to, you can see your BMI is 72.57. So you're fat. And then let's go in and engineer this to say that sent the wrong thing there. Oops. So let's calculate that BMI again. And what is my weight going to be? I'm just going to say I have a 30. You know, I'm a really skinny person. And then I'm also going to go back in and say that what was my height? It was 190. So I should be told that I'm pretty underweight now. So I got an 8 BMI. So I am pretty underweight. Seems like I'm underweight. I need to eat more. All right. So you had actually asked that about calculating BMI. So you asked this about any way to make with Zapier, to do math with Zapier, I need to calculate BMI of people. So we just did that. Now you're calculating BMI of people. So you can see exactly what we did there, how we actually created that. So we just use this Zap. We use Formatter. With Formatter, what we're going to do is we're going to use a spreadsheet style formula, and then we're just going to pipe in that formula right there and let Zapier calculate the math. Then we're going to send back down the user's BMI, populate his custom field with that BMI, and then we're going to send him out this flow, this piece of content that basically has a conditional block that checks to see what your BMI is, and it serves you up an answer accordingly. All right, so that was pretty straightforward. So I'm going to check that one off as being done. And then I'm going to go ahead and move into this one right here. So I know you asked this one, Twilio integration with SMS, voice, and video message. All right. So for the text message and voice, now you can use Twilio for that. I would recommend using something other than Twilio because you have a lot more options. But if you want to use Twilio, we can use Twilio. Now, the only issue with Twilio is we really need to do some logical consideration here to figure out what the country code is of the number, because according to the country code, we actually have to pick one of our Twilio numbers that are going to actually support the country code. Well, what I would recommend is this software that has been built by my company. That's a $300,000 software that is really, really robust, because whenever you send something through Twilio, all right, whenever you send something, now we do use Twilio as a backend for this software. So Twilio as a backend is used. So you do integrate with Twilio as a backend. But the problem is that if you use Twilio, then you'll see that in Twilio, pretty sure that I gave the wrong password there. Now, the issue with Twilio is that, crap, seriously? Are you saying that's seriously not my password? That should totally be my password. So the issue here with Twilio is if I go in and look at programmable SMS, I have no way to really, I mean, here I can see my logs, right? Here I can see my message logs, and I can see all the incoming messages. I can see all, how can I apply for a job? I can see, Was that today? Nope, that wasn't today. So I can see all my incoming and outgoing messages. Is this in a useful format for me? Not really useful. So I can't really see messages that I've sent out here. Can I reply back from here? I can't really reply back from here neither. So, which is why I recommend using this, because here I can actually go into this platform, and this does use Twilio, but I can see all my messages with somebody. I can see, hey, this is Craig Morrison. I can see, hey, he's got this email from me. I can see, hey, he sent me this text message. I can see, hey, we had this 9-minute phone call. I can listen to this phone call and see what we talked about. I can see some more messages. I can see another email, some more messages. I can see another 6-minute phone call. All right. So now I can go in and I can send out from this platform. And whenever I send out from this platform, I don't have to try to go in and search through a bunch of data. I can go in and just say, oh, hey, this message right here. Now, whenever I click on this message that got sent out, then I can see this guy's entire contact history, and it gives me more perspective of what I've actually done with this guy. Now, also, if you use Twilio, which we can use Twilio, all right, so let's just go in here and let's go into a flow and create a new flow called send SMS or call. And we'll just leave that video stuff for now, because if we actually were to go look at Zapier and we were to go in and explore and we were to go in and find Twilio, we would see that Twilio has only 2 actions that we can do. We can either send an SMS or we can call a phone number. That's it. We cannot do any type of video, live chat, anything like that. We can send an SMS or we can call a phone number. Now, with this call phone number, you'll find that all we can do whenever we call that phone number is we can actually go in and I'll show you what we can do with it. It's better to just show you, and then instead of going in and trying to explain it to you, it's better just to show you. So let me grab this decision block that I need right here to keep unsubscribers out and put him in there, because I want to start every one of my flows here. So so now, if you remember, I can use quick replies or I can use a question here. All right. So it's completely up to you what you do here. So I'm just going to use a question because I want you to give me this data. This is going to be multiple choice. And this is going to be call me. And this is going to be text me. All right. So there's that. All right. So now I'm going to collect that data from you. Then I'm going to automatically continue into, guess what? A condition. I'm going to check a condition. And I'm going to see, oh, first off, I need to put this in a field. So I could just put call or SMS. All right, so now I've got that custom field. So now I can come in here and say, hey, if call or SMS, where is that? If call or SMS is call me, then do this. If not, then do that. So here I'm gonna trigger a zap. And here I'm also going to trigger a zap. All right. Oh, crap. Now I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to route into another condition. And here I'm going to check phone number. So I'm going to check this phone number right here. Now I've got 2 phone numbers, and honestly, I'm really not quite sure what those 2 different phone numbers are. So let's check them out real quick. So here's a phone number that's a number. Here's a phone number that's a text. So now I'm just going to make a distinguishing factor between those guys right there. All right. So now I'm going to come back over here and I want to check if phone number that's not a number. I want to check this phone number. If this phone number has any value, then I'm going to go in and do this. If not, I'm going to go in and do this. So if it doesn't have any value, then obviously what I'm going to do is say, please give me the phone number that you want me to contact. All right, and then I'm going to put this in that phone number. Where is that phone number? There's that phone number, and this is going to be a phone number. All right, and you cannot skip that. All right, so I need that. And then here I'm going to say, okay, I'll contact you at, and then I'll put in your phone number. And I'll give you the options. If you say no, then I'm going to route you in here and ask for your phone number. If you say yes, then I'm going to route you over here. From here, once I get that phone number, then I'll route you over here. All right, done? Makes sense? So now I need to come in here, and if this is call me, then I need to create a zap, trigger a zap called call user. And if this is text me, then I need to create a zap called SMS user. All right, so now I've got those guys. And then I'm just going to give a little delay here, enough time. And then I'll just say that you should have already got contacted from me, all right, at that phone number. And that ends up my flow. So now I'm done with that flow. So I can publish that guy right there. And yes, if they go in, if I already have their phone number and I go in and say, hey, I'll contact you at that phone number, and they say, and I ask if that's okay, and they say no, and I route them in here, that will overwrite whatever value that I had before. So that will, whatever value that I was holding in there before will get overwritten, and they will get a new value. All right. So now let's go in and build these zaps out. Let's make a zap, mini chat. We're going to go mini chat whenever a new trigger zap event happens, and we just have 12 minutes. So I'll try to get both of these done so we can see these actually working. Event is going to be call user, continue. So fetch and continue. So now I could use Twilio and I could call a phone. Now you'll see if I use Twilio and I call a phone, let's use some Twilio account that we've got connected already. So now I need to pick a from number. These are coming from Twilio. These are some of my different Twilio numbers. I got a whole bunch of them on different accounts because I use Twilio a lot. This is a 2 number. So this 2 number, I need to go in and get phone, users fields phone. And then for Twilio, I need to add a 1 in front of it because I'm not going to ask them for. So everything but numbers will be removed and leading plus will be added, separate multiple numbers with commas, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So now you can see that if I want to send a phone call with Twilio, then all I can do is write some message. Here is some stupid message, and then I can pick a voice in which this should be read, man or woman. I can pick a language, and then I can also send some digits if I want to send some digits. So I can send a couple digits with me in case I need to go in and, dial an extension. I can put those numbers in here to dial an extension. Okay. So you can see this is not really robust. Literally, my user is just going to get a phone call. They're going to hear some really, really stupid thing here. All right. So instead, I could replace this guy with text in bulk. And I can make an outbound IVR call. Now, this is much more robust. I can make this outbound IVR call. Now, this outbound IVR, I can literally go in here and I can come to an IVR, and I can come in here and I can easily create IVRs. So, for example, I have an IVR called scheduled call. So whenever I send this call out to a user, they're going to receive an incoming phone call. When they answer the incoming phone call, it's going to say, hey, this is John. We had an appointment scheduled to talk to each other. If you want to have that call right now, press 1. We can be connected. If you need to reschedule for a later date, press 2, and we can pick a new date. If you're no longer interested, press 3. All right. So an IVR is just an options menu. It's an interactive voice response where a number is putting in options on a phone, and then they are redirected through your different menus. So whenever you call your bank and your bank's like, hey, thanks for calling Chase Bank to report your card lost or stolen, press 1. To talk to customer support, press 2, etc., etc., etc. That thing is an IVR. So now if I want to deliver this guy a phone call, and let's say I want to deliver him a phone call with a bunch of information about my product, I can create an IVR that says, hey, this is John. I've got a lot of different services. If you're interested in my software development service, press 1. If you're interested in my bot training, press 2. If you're interested in me dancing naked, press 3. All right. Whatever different services that I have. Not that I have a service for dancing naked, because I don't have a service for that. But if I did, it would definitely be option 3. I would try to sell my other services, and that would be the last service I try to sell. All right. So now in that IVR, I can go in, and that would be only for action takers. You're right. That service would only be for action takers. So now I can go in and put you into that IVR. Now, you can see how this is. If you guys are selling high-ticket items, if you're trying to sell a high-ticket item, you need your client on the phone. You have to have them on the phone. Trust me, you're trying to sell a $1,000 item, most likely, unless you're just fucking Bill Gates or somebody who everybody knows and trusts, you're not going to sell a high-ticket item before you get that person on the phone and give them your sales pitch. So now, like I said, you could use this scheduled call IVR. Literally, you do this scheduled call IVR, and if you listen, I'll just give you this because I'm pretty sure if I play this right here, it won't. I don't think that you guys can hear it if I play it right here. So no, you can't hear it, but it literally just says, hey, this is John. Actually, we had a call scheduled for right now. If you can have the call right now, press 1 and we'll get connected. If you need to reschedule, no problem. Press 2, we'll reschedule. If you're no longer interested, press 3, etc. So now if this guy was to press 1, okay, so if he was to press 1 right here, this is the first step that he hears. Now if he's going to press 1, well, I'm just going to actually forward him to a different phone number. I'm going to forward him to my personal phone number. And the great thing about this is all recorded. So now you can go back at a later date and you can go in and you can actually listen to these phone calls. Here's one that was sent through this process just the other day. This is me and Dennis on the phone. So if I listen to this, you'll hear, hey, that this is Dennis, and this is our recorded call whenever he went through something on, he went through the same process. There's something on my group, on my Facebook group, that says, hey, did you know that you can make your bot send out phone calls? And if you went through that flow, it would have done this exact same. Okay. So I wouldn't recommend using, I wouldn't recommend using Twilio at all, because like I said, it's not so robust. So now I could just come in here and I could pick this guy, and then I could continue. And then I could go in and pick what phone number do I want to call from. It's going to be one of my Twilio phone numbers. What phone number or what IVR. I want to use that IVR. What number do I want to call? And then I'm just going to pick this guy's phone number. And that's his phone number. And now that guy's done. And then I'm going to skip that test. And then I'll finish this guy with first going in and giving him some name that's going to be call user demo bot. And then I'll finish that guy, turn this guy on. And then I'm going to make one more Zap. And this is going to be if I need to send a text message to somebody. So this is going to be ManyChat. And this is also going to be one of our new Zap events. So you can see most of everything that we do. So this is everything that we do is literally all our functionality is coming from Zapier. So every functional thing that our bot does, we really need to learn Zapier. We need to be experts at Zapier because any of the real functionality of the bot outside of delivering content and making conditional checks, outside of that little conditional logic, any real functionality, calculations, we want to do some calculations, we want to do some lead scoring, we want to send out emails, we want to push data to a spreadsheet, we want to fetch data from a spreadsheet. All of that stuff is going to happen through Zapier, so we really need to use Zapier. So here's SMS user. So now I'm going to fetch and continue. And just so you know, this does use Twillo, so you just go in here and you actually just link up your Twillo account, all right? So you would essentially still be using Twillo, but, and yes, this works a lot like CallRail. So you would essentially still be using Twillo, but the advantages here is that you don't have to try to look at this interface in Twillo and try to understand, hey, have I got a new message? Have I sent a new message? How many messages have I sent this guy? What's the entire chat history that I've had with this guy? You'll never be able to figure that out in Twillo. Trust me. If you try to look at this, if I try to figure this out, hey, what is the conversation history that I've had with this guy? Well, I can find the text messages, but I'm going to have to go in and do some filtering. I can find the phone calls, but I have to look at a different screen, and it's not going to make sense to me versus here. I can just go in and I can look and see the entire, yes, so you do need a Twillo account to use this platform, but it's much more robust than Twillo because I can just go in here and I can look and see what is the entire conversation history that I've had with this person. I can go in and I can send out emails, I can send out text messages, I can make calls, I can easily schedule up follow-ups so that, you know, I can just say, hey, I need to email this guy 3 days from now, or I need to call this guy 3 days from now. And that will just all be scheduled in the background and you don't have to worry about it. And then 3 days from now, the dude gets a phone call that says, hey, we got a call scheduled. Are you still on for the call? If so, press 1. He hits 1. You guys are instantly connected. So it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing. You can't do all that stuff with Twillo. Trust me, this is an awesome software. I have personally spent over $300,000 building this software with my company. So this software does pretty much anything. You want to run a campaign, you've got an autoresponder, just like in ManyChat, you've got that sequence. Well, here you can run those promotional sequences. You can send out emails, you can send out text messages, you can make those phone calls, and you can do that just like this probably looks really similar to the sequences in ManyChat, right? So you can do all that. So back to this guy. Now we need to come in and continue. Now, we could use Twillo for this if we want to, and we can send out a text message if we want to, but our issue there, like I said, we're going to have the same issue where things are not going to be really easy for us to go in and find that information. So I wouldn't recommend using Twillo. I would recommend using that platform there because I can still send out a text message, and whenever I send out that text message, it's going to be recorded in the platform. So from number, what from number do I want to use? This is one of my Twillo numbers. Who do I want to send this to? This is going to be phone number. And then what message do I want to send him? Some text message. I told you my bot could text you. Here's that message. So now I can skip that test and I can come back over here somewhere. I can click this guy. Hey, that should be SMS user. And this should be SMS user demo bot. And now I can finish that guy. And now I can turn that guy on. So now I can come back over here and I can preview this guy. And I can see, hey, I could either call you or text you. Which would you prefer? So let's go with the text first. And he says, I'm going to call this number, 812-722-4722. Is that okay? Sure. If he contacts me there. And then if I come over here to Twilio, actually, first let's go to Zapier. Let's look at our task history in Zapier. And I can see that I just not sure why that says Zap deleted. So if I look at Twilio, I'm probably not going to see him in here, honestly. I need to come here and log out. And I need to log back in with a different account. As you guys can notice, I have accounts for everything almost. And let's log in here. And then let's also look here. And hey, let's see, programmable SMS. Here's that message that I just sent out. So you can see there's that message that I just sent out. Some text message. I told you my bot could send a text message. And the good thing here is whenever I look at this message, I can see a contextual message. I can see, hey, you know, this isn't just one message that I've sent to this guy. I've had, you know, lots of conversations with this guy, obviously, because it's my Skype number and I use this a lot for testing. But I can see all the emails I sent out. I can see there's a voicemail that he left me. Here's a bunch of phone calls. There's more emails, text messages. I can see the entire chat history, which is much more valuable to me than just seeing that I sent some random text message to somebody. All right. So can come back in here and preview this again. And I can say, hey, call me. And then he'll say, hey, I'm going to call you at that number. Is that okay? And then I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'm contacting you at that number. Let's look back at our task history. Also, I'm not understanding why this is saying that this Zap has been deleted. Really don't understand that at all. But I do know that I'm actually logged into Skype. And what that means is I should get some call here just momentarily coming into Skype, letting me know that there is that this dude just asked me to call him. So I can see that went there. So this could take sometimes up to a minute to process because we run a scheduler in the background. So sometimes this call takes up to a minute. There's the call, as you can see right there. So now I've got the call. I'm going to answer on my phone. So if you can have the call right now, just press 1 and we'll get connected. If you need to reschedule for a later time, just press 2. So I'm going to press 1. And he actually didn't pick up my user input on my phone. But that's what happens. He got the call just like that. So that's how you can easily go in and do calls and text messages. Like I said, you could use Twilio, and I showed you at the same time how to use Twilio if you want to use Twilio. I just don't recommend it, not because this is my software. That's not why I don't recommend it. It's just not as robust, right? If you were to try to go in and see, hey, what text messages have I actually sent out, all right? So now I got to come in here, and I'm not going to actually find that text message because I don't know what actual account that I'm using here. I'm actually using some sub account. I'm using one of my sub accounts for this, and I'm not quite sure which sub account that I'm actually using. So have no real clue what actual account that I'm using there. But as you can see, it would be pretty hard for me to go in and actually find the text message and then figure out, you know, what to do with that text message and what to do with that contact. Same thing with a phone call. If I make a if I make a phone call with Twilio, they're just going to allow me to put in some text and they're going to read that off as a robot. And that's not really great. For me, I want my potential client to hear my voice. I don't want them to hear some stupid robot voice. I want them to hear my voice. And I also want to capture that phone call in case I want to go in and use it in the future. All right. So now that's done. All right. So I needed to actually do one more thing, which was we're actually a little over on this training session as well. And I'm really sorry for that. If you guys could be so kind and just go in there and click on that link and then just follow the instructions on that link, that helps me do a good accounting system to account for everybody that came to this training session. And then if you could be so kind, just go to the Facebook post and kind of give a comment on anything valuable that you learned in here and if this was a good session. If this wasn't a good session, I see that we've got some other questions here still. I'm also going to give you guys out another link to this form right here, because we've got one more session coming up today. So today we have one more session. That session is right here. We've got this last session here from 8 to 9 p.m. So we got a little 2-hour break where we can all pee and poop and, you know, spend time with our kids or our wife, or eat some food or build some bots or whatever you want to do. And then we'll come back. We'll have our last training session for today. So if there's anything that you guys want particularly answered from that next training session, then just come in here, put in your name, what that question is, and then I'll go in and look them over just like this. And we'll go in and I'll do this one on the next one, Mauricio. So this is already all built out. I've already built out all this random coupon stuff. That's already built out. Bianca, if you want to actually go in and maybe resubmit this question to make it make a little bit more sense so that I can understand it, then I'll go in and actually do that. I'm going to do some R&D on this during our 2-hour break because I don't think this is possible. I really don't think this is possible whatsoever, but I'm going to go in and check it out and see if there's any type of way that we can do a workaround. And I've tried to do several workarounds with firing this Facebook pixel, and honestly, I haven't found anything good. Even I've tried to like run some JavaScript, trigger a zap and run some JavaScript that will fire your Facebook pixel, but that won't work because if you want to fire that Facebook pixel, you got to do it to a user that's actually logged into Facebook so Facebook can track it. So if I just fire some random JavaScript and the background from some zap trying to fire a Facebook pixel, it's not going to collect the actual user. So that's not actually going to help. So I'll try to figure this out. And this, Greg, we already did this. We did your entire flow to calculate BMI, so we already did that. So if you have any other questions and concerns that you want to go over, like I said, you just come in here and you do that, okay? Other than that, like I said, we're a little bit over. We're 7 minutes over. So I will see you guys on the next training session.